Hello and welcome to another edition of the DBE TV News. You can watch this bulletin on the DBE TV YouTube channel or on OpenView channel 122. I'm Balisa Makgolejo. In our top stories, great progress made and highlighted in the eradication of pit toilets. Applications for Phase 5 of the BEEI have closed. Provinces hold their first G20 Education Provincial gatherings. Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Basic Education has heard that there are only 137 schools left with unsafe pit toilets throughout the country. The committee received a briefing from Minister Siviwe Kwagube on the state of school infrastructure in South Africa. Together with her team, the minister updated the committee on the progress made. Challenges inherited from previous administrations and key policy interventions aimed at ensuring that every school is safe, dignified, and conducive to learning. There was an initial list compiled in 2018 which indicated that there were 3,375 schools which had unsafe pit toilets.
We're sitting with 139. In fact, we recently received news that we have about 137, about 2 more have been completed. We're sitting with 137 pit toilets that are left. But the reason why I keep emphasizing this point, that just because we clear the backlog of 2018 does not mean that when members go to provinces, they're not going to find schools with pit toilets. It is very possible that you very well might. Because one, there's 2 things. Number one, either in 2018, some of those schools could have been missed. 2, maybe those schools had proper infrastructure then, and that infrastructure has regressed. And then what do communities do? Well, they find another way. They build pit toilets. Because if these pit toilets are not maintained, if these toilets that we build are not maintained, they are not cleared, they get clogged up. And then the only alternative that people then have would say, well, we're going to just build new pit toilets. So the point I'm making about infrastructure being a forever moving target is that we and provinces need to be consistently responsive to one, new learners coming into our schools, which means we've got to extend the toilets. We've got to make sure that if there are still toilets out there, we identify where they are, we find them, and we eradicate them.
Ramasedi Mafuku, acting head of the infrastructure unit, explained how infrastructure reporting app has assisted the department to identify schools which still have pit toilets.
The number that we are talking about is based on the 2018 data that we collated. And it has come to our attention that there are some schools that might have fallen through the cracks when we are doing that work. And things like the app that through the minister's initiative with Vodacom, we are able to get the public to participate in this process of informing us of these schools that we might have left behind. And what happens is that we do a verification. When we receive a hit on the app, we go there and do a verification of indeed if there is a need for the school to be provided. Now that ASIDI and SAFE are coming to an end, we are no longer taking any new projects, then we give them over to the provincial departments of education with a clear instruction that sanitation is an immediate priority. So any additional pit latrine that is identified is given over to the province as an immediate priority for them to put into their project list for immediate implementation.
Kwagube highlighted some challenges faced when officials and implementing agents attempted to eradicate pit toilets in some areas.
Also do have issues with schools who refuse for us to demolish pit toilets even once the new toilets have been built. And I cannot in good conscience blame them entirely, chairperson and members, because if some of these toilets malfunction, then the schools are saying this is our backup plan. Because sometimes there's an issue with the cleaning, the maintenance of the toilets, and they're saying if we demolish these, then we don't have a backup plan. Even if you give us flush toilets, what if we don't have running water for 3 months? then what do we do? So I'm not trying to make this an insurmountable problem. But however, I'm trying to paint the picture of the complexity, because even if you go there and you say demolish this thing, and you say to contractors demolish it, it's unsafe for children, particularly small children, they will tell you, but I'm going to need a backup when the municipality fails me. So we are trying to work with schools to say, yes, how do we have waterless solutions to these problems so that you don't need to hang on to dangerous infrastructures.
She also spoke about the need for libraries in schools and how the department is working extensively to get more facilities for learners.
When the team was presenting this to me, I realized that we do have a serious problem, because we are sitting at about 30% of bricks and mortar libraries across the country. And some of them are cluster libraries, some of them are community. So outside the 30% is school libraries. But there are then schools that only rely on community libraries, schools that rely on cluster libraries. That, of course, is a problem, and I agree with you that it shouldn't matter where you go to school, but you should be able to have access to a quality library that is well stocked.
Applications to be part of the Basic Education's Employment Initiative have officially closed. Young people in the country will have an opportunity to learn some valuable skills while assisting teachers in the classroom. Although there were concerns that in some areas of the country there were no applications, the department says there will be great opportunities for those who will be chosen to be part of the program.
Know that you are going to get meaningful learning experience, you are going to be in the professional environment, you are going to support our teachers in classrooms, you are going to help our learners to read and to read every day so that they love reading. You are going to help our learners with sports, you are going to help our schools with cleanliness, maintenance, and you are going to help our schools with ICT to make sure that our schools, where they have laptops, where they have ICT material, it's working, it's functional, and there's someone who's maintaining them.
When we return, we are in Mpumalanga, where the Deputy Minister has been engaging with teachers and SGBs.
Are you moving house or office? Need a reliable and professional company to assist? Look no further. Satella Logistics is the one for you. With over 5 years' experience in home and office removals, Satella Logistics operates throughout South Africa and promises to transport your belongings carefully with ease and proficiency at an affordable price. Contact Satella Logistics today. Call 071 950 1148 for more information. Alternatively, send an email on info@satellagroup.com. Satella Logistics, moving goods safely from point A to B.
Basic Education's Deputy Minister, Regina Mhaule, has been conducting outreach programs in various provinces. This is part of her ongoing support program. Dr. Mhaule has been engaging with principals, school management teams, and school governing bodies. This is to strengthen support to schools and foster stronger, more meaningful partnerships that enhance schools and communities. She was recently in Moorlig Combined School in Emakazeni Municipality in Mpumalanga, where she emphasized the critical role that principals and SGBs play in ensuring effective governance, discipline, and academic accountability in schools. She encouraged SGBs to remain actively involved in developing of their schools, stating that strong and functional governing bodies are key to creating learning environments where both educators and learners can thrive. Dr. Mhaule also engaged with the matric class of 2025, urging them to remain committed to their books and studies. Staying in the province, the DM was accompanied by the national and provincial senior education officials and representatives from institutions of higher learning and training. The Deputy Minister participated in the first G20 Provincial Indava held in Mpumalanga. This forms part of the DBE heeding the call by Cyril Ramaphosa to take the G20 to the people. Dr. Mhaule commended the G20 Working Group for endorsing foundational learning and educational professionals, for changing the world as their focus in areas of the Indava.
At the core of our presidency lies the Education Working Group. Its theme is Education Professionals for Solidarity, Equality and Sustainability. That is the theme for education. Education Professionals for Solidarity, Equality and Sustainability. It's fitting that we meet today, educators, policymakers, stakeholders, united by a common mission to strengthen education systems, empower professionals, and prioritize the learners who depend on our leadership. On solidarity, we said strength in unity. Strength in unity. Even in a magazine, we need to derive our strength in unity. Education is more than the transmission of knowledge. It's a force of unity that binds communities and nations. The strength of our education system is measured by our ability to work together, share expertise, and lift one another up. Solidarity means ensuring that teachers, learners, and institutions support one another, leveraging collective wisdom to ensure no child is left behind.
Next up was the Northwest Province, which hosted the G20 Provincial Education Indava, attended by Premier of the Northwest Province, Lazarus Mokgotsi, and MEC Viola Mutsumi, and the DBE Deputy Minister. The theme for the event was Quality Foundational Learning, the role of ECC in enhancing the quality of foundational learning, in alignment with the G20 Education Working Group. During her address, Dr. Mhaule lauded the Northwest Education Department, saying that the province has demonstrated remarkable leadership in championing these priorities and creating space for further interrogation. Gauteng Education MEC Matumi Chilwane says he is deeply devastated by the tragic death of Simpiwe Mcebo Biela, an 18-year-old grade 11 boy learner from Musi High School in Soweto. Biela was allegedly stabbed by a University of Johannesburg student while on his way home Tuesday, May 6th. Calm has been brought to the schooling's community in Pimville after classes were disrupted following the incident. Police are investigating circumstances surrounding of Biela. Staying in the province, Premier Panyaza Lesufi says the launch of Ribani Laga Math, Science and ICT School of Specialization is a dream come true for Gauteng and its learners. Lesufi was part of the delegation at the launch of the top-notch school situated in Mamelodi East, which will focus on automotive and electronics. This launch marked the 36 schools of specializations established by the Gauteng provincial government since the inception of the flagship program in 2016.
Today, we have witnessed something that we've been dreaming about for years. Today, we are seeing in action something that we envisioned, but no one believed us. Today, we are launching an education with a purpose, where our children are not going to be told things that are not going to assist them, where our children are not going to be taught things that will be relevant when they leave the school, where our children are not going to be taught things that will drive them to unemployment rather than economic opportunities. Today, we are launching education that makes sense. We are launching education that makes economic sense, but most importantly, we are launching education that empowers. We are proud to those that have made it, and we want to thank all of them for bringing everything here and finalizing. I know many schools around this area ask themselves, why Ribani Laga? We didn't choose Ribani Laga. Ribani Laga chose itself by performing the way they performed.
Also in attendance at the launch was Gauteng Education MEC Matumi Chilwane and the MEC for Infrastructure, Jacob Mamabulu. Chilwane said that the school will transform the face of education at the school and in the province.
With this school, and the vision that we are pushing. As you can see, here we're focusing on automotive and electronics. Really. We are taking 4IR to another level. The exposure of these kids that they're going to get, it's beyond. In the past, we've been exposing them by actually getting exposed to the equipment. Now, they are going into deep practical work. That will ensure that by the time these learners leave, as much as one of the learners said, it will improve their employability. But our objective is not for them to be employed. It's for them to create jobs for themselves and others.
Director General Matanzi Mamueli attended and addressed the 2025 National Examinations and Assessment Committee Lekgotla, which ran over 3 days, under the theme Building a National Examination and Assessment System Through Standardization. The Lekgotla provided a platform to reflect on the progress made in establishing a credible and high-quality national examination and assessment system, while also identifying challenges encountered in aligning the system with national standards. Mueli thanked the committee for its hard work and dedication to the system. Delivering the opening address, Dr. Rufus Pollia, the Chief Director for National Assessment and Public Examination, said the department remains committed to making South Africa a better place for every child through inclusive national examination and assessment system. And that's how we end this bulletin on the DBE TV News YouTube channel, the Department of Basic Education's YouTube channel, and on OpenView channel 122. Remember to send through your comments and stories by contacting us on our X page handle at DBE TV News and on our Facebook, DBE TV News. Thank you for watching.